am Hannah Wallace, and speaking with me now in the lead up to EBAday 2022 is Jean-Philippe Joliveau, Senior Commercial Development Manager at Nexi Group. So Jean-Philippe, thank you very much for joining us today.
Great, thank you for being here.
Great to have you on. And now we're talking about some really interesting topics: instant payments, request to pay, and the development of the ecosystem, all of which will be discussed at EBAday. But let's start with instant payments, the uptake of which is undoubtedly growing at a high speed. So let's start there. Could you share where we're up to today and what remains to be done?
Yes, I believe we've put in place all the necessary bricks to make it a reality, to make it an efficient and useful means of payment. I mean, we've built the infrastructure to make this payment, which has big advantages, such as giving the availability of funds for the payee receiving the payment immediate, and that's really a breakthrough in this industry. And we've achieved that by making it possible to initiate an instant payment between two banks, and specifically as Nexi, we have because we are the sole technological provider for EBA clearing. We've built a RT1 platform that allows banks in a cross-border environment, so that's a pan-European environment, allows banks to exchange instant payments according to the EPC scheme, the SCT Inst, so-called SCT Inst, SEPA Credit Transfer Instant.
All right, okay, that's really interesting. Thanks for setting this scene for us and bringing us up to date. So request to pay then, it's often described as the missing piece of the puzzle in the instant payments value chain. So what do you make of that? What impact is this having on the payments experience for end users, specifically in the European space?
Yes, it is. It's true. It's often described as the missing link in the chain, because what I've said before is we have implemented the possibility to exchange instant payments between two banks. What is somehow missing is how to use it. Obviously, you can open your mobile banking application and start initiate an instant payment to pay for something. But it's not really useful and not really usable. For instance, in a shop, if you want to pay, you would have to ask the IBAN of the merchant, and that would be awkward. So we need to work, and that there's been much work since the beginning, but it's because it's a complex infrastructure and a complex ecosystem. We need it to work gradually, and what solution has been found is the request to pay, because when I was saying I would like to pay at a merchant, I asked the IBAN, then I would have to push the payment, because an instant payment, an SCT Inst, is a push payment. You push it to the account of the person receiving the payment. To make it really easy to use, and you should make it a pool payment. So the merchant should take the money from your account, obviously with your consent. It's not something, I'm not going to rob you, but it's so the merchant needs to make a request to pay. That's as simple as that. And this is the idea behind it. So if you implement this kind of message where the merchant is able, or any kind of company is able to send a request to pay to you, you will receive it on your mobile phone, and you can say, yes, I accept, or no, because I don't recognize this request. And having accepted it, then the payment will be initiated. The instant payment will flow to the payee's account. And so that's a bit the idea, and that's what has been implemented together again with EBA clearing. We built together the R2P solution, which is the request to pay, that allows the bank of the payee to send a request to pay to the bank of the payer. And there are many, many interesting use cases for that. It's not only in the case of retail payment, but also that can be used for business to business payments or business to consumer in some cases. For instance, we were thinking that what is an SDD, a SEPA direct debit? Is the merchant asking your bank for a payment because you gave a mandate, you said, yes, I accept, I will be charged for this sum every month, for instance. If you combine a request to pay with an SCT inst, you have the same effect. You have the the direct debit effect with one advantage, that it is an instant payment. And the second advantage also for the merchants is, or the corporate that is sending the usually the SDD, is that it's not repudiable. SCTs, while you have some facilities you can repudiate an SDD within a certain time frame, and that's month. So one idea would be there. I'm not saying that we need to restrict the rights of the customers, obviously, but there are certainly use cases where this kind of equivalence would be useful for both parties. So that's the idea. And so having these also we can think of the request to pay because it's a new message, and because of the advance of technology, you will be able to associate to the request to pay also the some documents that can be attached to it. So that allows the company to send the invoice directly together with the request to pay. So you receive the invoice within the message, you have it on your mobile, you can say yes, and that's okay for private consumers, but that's fantastic also for companies, because that saves time, and that's probably saves a lot of money in administrative costs, for instance.
All right, those are some interesting examples you've shared with us. Thanks for taking us through those. And as you say, the ecosystem is incredibly complex. So how is Nexi Group then supporting the development of an ecosystem, and what do you think will be the benefits for both the customers and the businesses? What about that?
Well, we are, as said, we accompany EBA clearing in providing these solutions to all the main banks in Europe, and we are working together in building this ecosystem, and working also in building all the systems that are that make it possible to make a payment in a shop on the internet. So to put the new bricks that will complete the picture, not only the request to pay, but also the acceptance in physical shops, for instance, by building systems based on QR code. And there are European works done by the EPC, for instance, on rationalizing and standardizing this kind of thing. But we also, if we are thinking about Nexi and the advantage we want to bring to consumers and merchants, we can see the three parts that have merged into the new Nexi Group. So as SIA, we have built the infrastructure for EBAday clearing. We've already talked about that. We have Nets in the Nordics has always been very advanced in innovative systems, and in particular in the Nordics, they are very well using a lot this kind of new payments, mobile payments, instant payments. And if you see Nexi with their wealth of services provided already to merchant, that helps putting in place the acceptance part. And so putting everything together makes it a reality. And for instance, with another solution that we have built in SIA, which is now a Nexi solution, which is a mobile acceptance solution for an instant payment. And this is really building up the ecosystem. And this system, for instance, is used by Bancomat Pay, the Bancomat domestic scheme in Italy. The Bancomat Pay means of payment is precisely based on our infrastructure, and that puts everything together. That combines concepts like the request to pay, the acceptance as merchant with QR codes, and grouping together all the banks in an ecosystem to make rules and provide new services and security of payment for merchants, but security also of what is happening for the consumers. So that's a bit our goal, because that goes in the direction that Nexi has, which is the objective is to work in making digital payments available for everybody and easier to use.
Brilliant. Well, Jean-Philippe, thank you so much for that. A positive note to end on there, and interesting to hear what you're working on at Nexi Group, and looking forward to hearing more about that at EBAday. So thank you very much for sharing your insights today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Pleasure was mine.